Good morning, children. So in the before class, I explained about the animal tissues. There are mainly four types of animal tissues. One, epithelial tissue. Second one, connective tissue. Third one, muscle tissue. And fourth one is the nerve tissue. So in the before class, I explained about the different types of epithelial tissue like stratified epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue, columnar epithelial tissue, glandular epithelial tissues. Next one is the connective tissue. In the connective tissue, we have studied about different types of connective tissue. The main function of the connective tissue is to connect all our body organs and to keep our body organs in that position. Example, areolar tissue. Next one is the adipose tissue. Third one is the bone tissue. Fourth one is the tendon. Next one is the ligament and cartilage, and last one is the blood. Blood is also known as the fluid connective tissue. It will move throughout our body and supplies the food material and other things to whatever the requirements are needed for our body. And now come to the third type of tissue, that is the muscle tissue. These are the three types of muscle tissues. One, stratified muscle tissue. Second one, striated muscles, non-striated muscles, cardiac muscles. Striated muscles, non-striated muscles, cardiac muscles. Striated muscles, having the striations on the body. These dark and light stripes are known as striations. The dark and light lines you can find on the muscle. So these type of banded structures are known as striated muscles. Striated muscles are also having another name called skeletal muscles. Why they are called as skeletal muscles means they are attached to the skeletal part of our body. They are attached to the skeletal part of our body. And what is the main function of the striated muscles means they are helpful in the movement of our limbs. Limbs means your hands and legs. We are able to move these hands and legs means only because of the presence of these striated muscles. Because of striated muscles. What is the shape of the striated muscles? They are long, cylindrical, without any branching. There is no branching. Only you can find the straight, long muscles. And they are having many nucleus. That is a striated muscle. Non-striated muscles. These are spindle form. These are in the form of, this shape is known as spindle shape. Only a single nucleus is found in these muscles. And where you can find these non-striated muscles means in the organs which will be doing that work. Means continuously which are working, like our digestive system, excretory system, reproductive system. There these non-striated muscles are present. These non-striated muscles are also known as smooth muscles. These are also known as smooth muscles. And these are present, these are having another name, that is involuntary muscles. They doesn't work according to our will. But when you come to the striated muscles, these striated muscles work according to our will. That is why these are known as voluntary muscles. Voluntary muscles, skeletal muscles and striated muscles. Smooth muscles, involuntary muscles and non-striated muscles. Last one is the cardiac muscle. In these cardiac muscles also you can find the striations. But here you see the muscles are not branched. But here the muscles are branched and you can find many nucleus. And where you can find these cardiac muscles means these cardiac muscles are present in the heart. You can find only in the heart. What is the main function of this cardiac muscles means? Nothing but to pump the blood. To where it will pump the blood? To all the parts of our body. So heart is a pumping organ and it is a hollow organ. Completely it is made up of a special muscles called cardiac muscles. So these are the three types of muscles which are present in our body and performs the different functions. So striated muscle, non-striated muscle, another one is the cardiac muscle, another one is the cardiac muscle. So this is about the muscle tissue. If there are no muscles, there won't be any working of our body organs. So how much the remaining organs are important, that much this muscle tissue is also very important. Muscle tissue is also very important. Now come to the next part of your lesson, that is nerve tissue. Next one is the nerve tissue. So the main parts in the nerve cell or a neuron are mainly three parts you can find. One is the cell body, a round shaped structure, long branched structure, unbranched structure, axon, and here you can see the branched structures called dendrites. These are the main parts in a nerve cell, and this diagram is very important for 4 marks. So if you are having your book in front of you, take that book, take your pencil and draw the diagram. Practice twice or thrice. Definitely you will get the diagram. Now come to the cell body. So it is somewhat round in shape in structure. Inside you can find the nucleus. Beside this nucleus you can find a round shaped structures which are called as glial cell, Nissl granules. These are called as the Nissl granules. These Nissl granules will give the supply the food material to the nerve cells, and as well as it gives the support to the nerve cells. So now come to this Nissl granules and as well as the cell body, the nucleus you can find in the cell body. Outside this cell body you can find again a round shape called Nissl granules. Round shaped structures called Nissl granules. These Nissl granules will give the support to the entire cyton. Cell body is also known as cyton. So it is also called as the head of the nerve cell. Head of the nerve cell. So complete controlling part is nothing but the cyton or otherwise cell body. So a round shaped structure you can find. Inside that you can find the nucleus. Surrounding to the nucleus you can find a round shaped structure called Nissl granules. The Nissl granules. And on the round shaped structures you can find a projected structures which are ended with a branched hair-like structure called dendrites. These are called as the dendrites. And at one part of the cyton, you can find a long structure which is unbranched. It is not at all branched. An unbranched structure called axon. This axon is covered with a sheet called myelin sheet. This axon is covered with a sheet called myelin sheet. What is the use of myelin sheet? Means this myelin sheet doesn't allow the messages to be out from the axon. This myelin sheet is completely made up of a special cells called Schwann cells. A special cells called Schwann cells, completely made up of fatty layers. So here you can find a small gap between the myelin sheet. So that is known as nodes of Ranvier. Nodes of Ranvier. A gap in between the myelin sheet you can find, that is known as nodes of Ranvier. And the axon is ended again with a branched structure which is called as the nerve terminal, which is known as the nerve terminal. So what are the main parts in the nerve cell or neuron? Cyton, dendrite and axon. So on the cyton is also known as the cell body. In the cell body we can find the nucleus, and another one is the Nissl granules. Surrounding to the cell body outside you can find a special cells called glial cells. A special cells called glial cells. And next one is the long part called axon. This long unbranched structure is called as axon. Axon is completely covered with the myelin sheet. In between the myelin sheet, you can find a gap which is known as nodes of French. And last, this axon, once again it is divided into small branches which is called as the nerve terminal. Now, how the messages are passed from one nerve cell to another nerve cell. So, when you come to this, these nerve cells are attached with one another in the nervous system, either from dendrite to dendrite or otherwise dendrite to nerve terminals. It can get attached, or otherwise sometimes these dendrites may get attached to the axon, but mostly dendrites to axon or nerve terminal, and two nerve terminals will get attached. So throughout our nervous system, these nerve cells are attached to one another, and what they will do means they will send the messages from one nerve cell to another nerve cell, from another nerve cell to another nerve cell. In this manner, they will carry the message from one body organ to another body organ. That is why we are able to reach or catch whatever it is happening surrounding to our body or in the environment. So passage of the messages will be done only through small electric form, which is known as the action potential. So this is the structure of nerve cell. Nerve cells are present only in the nervous system. Nervous system is what are the parts you will get. So mainly brain, nerves, another one is a spinal cord. Brain, nerves and spinal cord. So spinal cord will act as a mediator, carries the messages from the body organs to the brain. Again from the brain, it will carry the messages to the nerves, and through the nerves it is carried to your body organs. So in this manner they will carry the messages from one organ to another organ, from one organ to the another organ. Next one, a small part in the connective tissue, that is in the blood. So I explained what are the different types of cells which are present in the blood. One is RBC, another one is the WBC, another one is the platelets, or otherwise we can call it as a thrombocytes. So here the blood is red in color, means all the animals doesn't have the same type of blood. We are having mainly three types of blood groups, that is blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB and blood group O. Here four types, that is blood group A, blood group B, then blood group O, and another one is a blood group AB. So when you come to this blood group, how can you identify the blood groups? So by doing the small experiment, we can come to a conclusion to which type of blood group it is belongs your blood. So that is by using the serum. Serum, three types of serums: A serum, B serum, another one is the D serum. A, B and D serum. By using the serums, easily we can come to a conclusion which type of blood group it is. So when you come to the blood groups, here universal donor, blood group O is known as the universal donor. We can donate for anyone. Then universal recipient, blood group AB is known as the universal recipient. So when you return to the school, then definitely we are going to perform the experiment, and you people easily can identify which type of blood group it belongs. So if you come to your experiment, take one glass slide, okay, a neat and clean glass slide you take. Then take your middle finger, this is the middle finger. Take one syringe needle and prick the finger. So the blood will ooze out. Now on the glass slide, draw three circles. One is A, next one is B, and next one is the D. Add 3 drops in each circle. In circle A, one small drop, B another drop, and D another drop. Then add corresponding anti-serums. A serum to the B circle B serum, and to the D circle D serum. Just you wait and take one toothpick and mix it. If the A circle gets clotted, then it is a blood group. If B circle gets clotted, then it is a B group. If both have been clotted, then it is a AB group. If nothing is clotted, then it belongs to O group. And D serum shows you whether it is a positive or negative. If it is coagulated, then it is a positive. If it is not coagulated, it is a negative. So O negative, A positive, B positive, AB positive. So if it doesn't coagulate, then it is A negative, B negative, AB negative. So this is how you can find your blood group. Okay, so blood is a fluid connective tissue. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. So these are the 4 types of tissues, that is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, then muscular tissue, and next one is the nerve tissue. Next one is the nerve tissue.